Hey everybody, it's the Linkzilla here, and I just wanted to take a moment to show you my old Minecraft map. This one might be a bit more interesting than how Jurassic Park currently is, because I basically realized that that park has got so much work coming towards it that I just can't, in my right mind, actually breed dinosaurs and release them into the wilds of the park, because they're just not ready to be out there yet. I mean, the fences. I didn't think about the fact that there are several roads that lead in and out of the park that the dinosaurs could take advantage of. And so, anyways, this world is the original world where I was playing around with this mod. It's called Kaijerica, and you'll find out why it's named that in just a few moments. But first, I'm going to take you on a tour through my facilities here to basically show you all the neat stuff that this mod entails and what it's like when the mod is actually, well, active and ready and you can do stuff with it. So, basically speaking, over here, I have my chicken farm, killing chicken. Gotta have plenty of raw meat for the bigger animals. This here's my melon farm, which I can use to feed my herbivores with, as long with some carrots and potatoes don't help. Yeah, I built on a village, and this is usually what I do to defend my village and make sure that I have plenty of the villagers spawning so we could get iron golems. Just line up your village with line between the buildings with as many doors as possible, and you'll get iron golems that spawn, but somehow or another, all three of these iron golems spawned inside my laboratory. So usually if there's ever a Velociraptors that spawns, they almost end up killing it immediately. Anyways, here's a chest that I dedicate to my archaeological finds. These are the ancient helmets and the ancient swords. This is a drum. A drum is important for taming some of the larger carnivorous animals, which are going to come into play much, much later. I have some of my broken figurines on display. I've tried several times to have them restored, but I just don't think that you can do it. Here's my chest room, where I'm going to keep all my stuff. Iron. Gold. I love gold. And my diamonds. I definitely did a whole lot of mining. Got a lot of emeralds, lapis lazuli, redstone. Yeah, I was at this map for quite a while, like since January, so hard to believe I basically stopped playing on it because, oh well. I'm definitely going to come back to it one day because given how big Jurassic Park is, and I just really feel like it's better for my mental health if I eventually finish this map first. This is the trail of Velociraptor slime where they first escaped from my laboratory back when I had the cultivator vats up against the window. Yep. As you can see, this right here is the pen that I'm planning to use for my Sarcosuchus. So, it's basically going to be part beach, part aquarium. All this is going to be covered in water, and the spectators can basically see the surface of the water here, and they can also observe the animal on land up here. And over here, you can see the... Oh, damn it. Oh, fuck me. Here you can see the trail of slime where the Velociraptor chased me, and it leads over here. We have our Velociraptor plant. You see those three hoppers up there? I originally had, like, my cultivator vats inside this thing when I realized that, hey, I want to have a pen filled with Velociraptors, especially because that whole peaceful debacle. It's not the first time that's happened to me. Like, I basically was able to realize that was what was going on when I realized that Jurassic Park was left on peaceful mode. But as you can see, we've got our failure plants here, and as you can see, they're pretty beautiful, and they've got this nice teal color, but wait, just watch. Yep, your eyes aren't tricking you. It should be happening. Yep, we've been starting to see it's beginning to change. They're starting to take on a deeper blue color. Now they're starting to get a little bit purple. And that's what's cool about the failure plants, is that they change color like this. It's really beautiful, and I just like the design of them. I like how they look kind of genetic and not exactly plant-like. They look alien-like. So I think that it's worth it to have a few of these things around just for the sake of the aesthetic appeal. Anyways, moving on. That's what I hate about suddenly turning peaceful mode off. You got all these freaks running around. But now I want to start to show you guys the good stuff. Unfortunately, by good stuff I mean the best of what I got. This right here is supposed to be my Tyrannosaurus pen. It was originally a pen that held a few Deinonychus in there, and as you can see, that's why there's that many pigs. I let the Deinonychus eat the pigs until I accidentally attacked one of them and it tried to kill me. Beyond here, I have a little farm that is basically dedicated to spawning pigs and dropping them into this so that the Rex can eat them. And I'm pretty sure that once I breed the Rex inside this thing, it's definitely going to go after them like something fierce. Here we have the mountain range that overlooks my home. And as you can see, there's been a whole lot of digging. Well, you can see that there's almost all the dirt from at least this part of the block, from this part of the mountain, has been dug up, and that's because I was using all that dirt for my sifter back there. And let's go check on my sifter. Wait, nope. You guys want to see some actual dinosaurs. So, welcome, my friends, to Cretaceous Park. Where's the map? Did I lose the map again? Oh well. Here we have the first animals on our tour, the pen with the first animals I bred in the game, Ankylosaurus. Ankylosaurus. As you can see, I have two specifics. The original down there, her name is Sheila. Sheila is my baby, and I just really loved it the day that I first bred her on this map. She was so tiny and so cute, and eventually I bred her little playmates to play with. His name was Butch. I was so glad that he turned out to be a boy, and, well, eventually the two of them grew up together, and, well, you can see what happened. I thought that it was kind of cool having them around until I basically thought that maybe the pen is just too small to have all these big animals in it. I think that the pen is fine, but I feel like they wish that they could get out and go other places instead of just being around here. But it's ultimately what I got. Ultimately, I eventually have to take on forms of population control, but that's what ends up giving me a whole lots of bones and Ankylosaurus meat, which is okay. As you can also see, I've got other animals in here. I've got Gallimimus. Eventually, when I realized that I didn't make enough pens for every single Cretaceous animal in the mod, I realized that some of these are going to have to pair up with each other. Now, my two main Gallimimus, which are in there somewhere, the female's name is Kaylee, and the male's name is Schooner. I have no idea why I named them that. It's just something that happened, and, yep, never mind. Anyways, that's the Ankylosaurus right there. I gotta admit, though, the animals can get a little bit annoying to deal with sometimes because, ultimately speaking, they have to have their moods kept up, and they can only have their moods kept up by playing. And as you can see, now that they're awake, they're beginning to play, they're chasing that big blue ball around. And eventually that ball is going to get knocked over the fence, and they're just going to keep trying to get out of the pen, but sometimes they'll just they'll just congregate at a corner of the pen and keep trying to face to the wall. And as you can see here, this Ankylosaurus has just given birth, giving us an Ankylosaurus egg. Basically speaking, in the mod, the eggs are supposed to be dropped onto the ground, kind of like that, but I changed the settings of the game to where the eggs will drop in pickup form so that you pretty much can't so that the animals won't won't keep on breeding and eventually overpopulate the world. It's a great way to also save on genetic material as well, because if you have two members of the same species that are the same sex, you're basically guaranteed to have like a continuous population of the animals. You don't need to use the cultivator vat anymore, so I mostly keep their pen open because, like, I just got so tired of them trying to get into this wall. I keep thinking there's something of interest beyond this wall that they are trying to get to that I can't see, so... But there's just nothing there, so eventually I just got fed up and just fenced them in on this part. Yeah, you guys have lost your corner privileges. Anyway, I'm gonna take these eggs, and I'm just gonna put them in a box here. As you can see, this one is also being shared with the Parasaurolophus, and yep, I'm running out of space. But anyways, now we can move on to the other dinosaurs. I want to keep this as an alphabetical order as I can, so if we move on here, we have a more interesting animals on our tour. We have Deinonychus. Yep, my Deinonychuses are unfortunately nocturnal animals, so that is basically why you're going to be seeing them sleeping a lot, because they actually only sleep when they have a roof over their heads during the day, which is kind of tedious, but I didn't want these guys to get cranky from not sleeping, so I put a roof over their heads instead of this dome enclosure that they're supposed to have. They won't wake up until nightfall, so... Here we have Deinonychus, and my two mains in there are Blaze and Isabel. I love these guys. Blaze is my boy, and I just love him. In fact, I actually have a backup of this map saved in case Blaze and Isabel or any of my other named dinosaurs happen to die, so that I can import the copies from them from the backup into this world. So... It's always good to have your worlds backed up, kids. Here we have Pachycephalosaurus. I tried to have two mains of Pachycephalosaurus in there, but the female died, and so I'm just basically stuck with my boy Tuck here, named for Friar Tuck. Yep, I'm trying to be funny. But we also, in this pen, we also have Parasaurolophus. I used to have a whole lot more, but they were just too big and they were getting in the way, so I narrowed the population down to just two. We have Elvis, the male, and Priscilla, and this is ultimately the problem that I have with these animals, because their behavior is so weird. They keep climbing up to this perch and just singing. They get up, just bellowing like this, and they end up clipping into each other, and you can't really see them all that well, so I had to move Elvis a little bit. And the weirdest part about it is that somehow these things get out of their pen, and I literally can't figure out how, because I keep the doors as closed as often as I can. It's literally gotten to the point where literally only I can open the cages, so... Anyways, here we have the Pteranodons. You probably can't see them all that well because of the glass being in the way, but you can see we have a trio of males down there. Oh, and that one's starting to fly. Yeah. We have our females just congregating over there in the corner. Now, the thing about it is that I mentioned how hard it is to feed these guys. So instead of just having one single button that released all four dispensers, I've given each dispenser their own button, and now that female is moving close to a button, and a fish came out, so let's see if she'll go and eat it. Yep, she ate it. Good, they're not dumb. I tried initially to have daylight sensors up here on top of the cage that are connected to the four droppers. And then when it was daylight again, they would drop the fish so that the animals could eat. But ultimately speaking, this is a version of the game where you couldn't change the daylight sensor setting. I wanted them to be able to alternate between night and day and whatnot, and it just wouldn't be able to work like that. So, what are you gonna do? Here we have Pteranodons. Her name is Mandy. And this is just something that you're going to have to accept with the dinosaurs in this game, because they clip through the walls, and it's just really annoying. It's kind of irritating. Really wish that, I really hope the game developers are working on fixing that, give some proper clicking. And for some reason, Mandy keeps going back to that one corner. Yeah, I cannot figure out these animals. I don't know what their behavior is, and the reason why I have to disturb them from these patterns of theirs is because they'll stay there literally all the time, and they'll refuse to eat. So I have to pull Mandy away from there so that she'll remember to eat. This is the feeder, where she's got plenty of herbivorous food to eat, so not all that worried. Here's Triceratops. I originally had 3 of these animals, but unfortunately I accidentally hit one of them and they started to attack me. Here's the main one that I bred. His name is Billy. He was supposed to have a sister named Sarah somewhere in here, but she was one of the ones that had to die. So I gave him a new female. I haven't named her yet. Don't know what to name her. And that's basically pretty much it. Over here, we have the only animal which isn't Cretaceous. I thought it was Cretaceous because I know that there are Cretaceous variants of these animals that did exist. It's our Plesiosaur, and as you can see, it's swimming around in there with the sturgeon. I named her Nessie, and the funny thing about it is that this animal is so small that it's sometimes hard to see among the sturgeon, and you're lucky that she's moving around right now. She must be looking for food. So, like I said, she can basically eat the salmon spawn, but sometimes this animal will remain completely immobile, and I'll just show you that down here I have a chest that's filled with extra sturgeon spawn in case she ever runs out of food, and also an empty shell, but also 2 plesiosaur sacs, because I was planning on breeding her with siblings, but when I realized that she wasn't a Cretaceous animal, I pretty much held off on that, because eventually I'm going to have to move her into the Jurassic section of the park, and unfortunately, and then probably end up using this pen for a Mosasaurus. Over here, on the far side of the park, this designated area that I have walled off over here is what I'll be using for the Spinosaurus. I just need to clear out those rocks. I'll probably either do that in MC Edit or I'll do it the old-fashioned way with a heavily enchanted broken pickaxe. And then I'll just dig it out or maybe just MC Edit all the dirt and stuff out. But I want to save the dirt. I want to use the dirt for the other purposes. Over here, the problem that I had with this is that I didn't really know how big my endeavor was going to be. Because when I first settled here, I basically thought that it would be perfect to make my animal park, and I shouldn't have started with the Cretaceous animals. I wanted to because Ankylosaurus was the first dinosaur that I got from the analyzer. It was the first DNA, so I just began building pens, and I just threw the Ankylosaurus in there, and I thought, you know what, I'm a pretty OCD kind of guy. I'm going to go through this in alphabetical order and try to keep them as scientifically and historically accurate as possible. Prehistorically accurate, if that's the proper term for it. But anyways, there doesn't seem to be enough room for the Jurassic Park pen, unless I either build it down here, which is basically going to just cut into all this stuff down here, or into the river. Maybe I could build it across the river, but this seems to have a whole lot of water here. Or I could build it off to the side, where it just will feel kind of awkward. I don't want to take down the mountain and put it up there before it, because the cold climates might bother the dinosaurs. Plus, that would be a whole lot of work, and I'm pretty lazy. Anyways, there's one more dinosaur that I have to show you on this tour, and I guess we'll be done. There's other things that I want to show you, but... And down here in this pen is our Velociraptor pen. Yep. The best part about the raptors is they're just like the Deinonychus, but they're a little bit more finicky, and I think it's because the sun is going down that they're a bit more active. So, Basically, we've been a little too far away to actually observe anything, so let's go down into the maintenance tunnels to show you these animals up close and personal. Here's the pen where I keep both the Triceratops eggs and the Velociraptor eggs. Basically, you gotta make sure you get them, because if you just leave them in the pen, they're either gonna despawn or the parents are just gonna eat them. So all these animals are tame to me, so they're not gonna hurt me if I go in there and say hello. Hey guys, here we have Red. He is the alpha male of the group. I named him after basically I named him for the red variant of Velociraptors from Jurassic Park 3, the ones that had feathers. As you can probably tell, I have the other females that are named after the Raptor Squad from Jurassic World. We got Blue and Delta, they're hopping, they're happy to see me. The big one, he's the other male that I have here. He was the one that basically sort of took over the raptor pack in the beginning of Jurassic Park. He was the monster in the cage. Over there we got baby Charlie, and we got, where's Echo? Yep, Echo, right there. Basically, the dinosaurs play with balls, but you also notice that there's this yellow block that's spewing bubbles, and I think that the bubble machine is pretty much the best toy to give the dinosaurs, because sometimes the ball will get stuck in places that they can't reach, and sometimes if they play with it too much, it'll phase through some of the blocks and they won't be able to get it out. And don't want to let them to use scratching posts anymore, because the scratching post has a problem with it where, especially with dinosaurs that attack the scratching post by leaping at it like the Velociraptors and Deinonychus do, they will phase through the ground, and I just worry that they'll end up suffocating like that, because that is how I've lost a few blazes. How in blazes? You lose a few blazes? Oh! But anyways, there's also another toy called the battering ram that's basically just a log hanging from a rope that you put on the ceiling or something, and the problem is that the dinosaurs have such a fascination with it that they'll basically just put off doing anything else. They won't go around, they won't eat. And it looks like Red and Charlie just had a little something something, but Charlie then ate the egg. Charlie. Baby Charlie. Mother of the year. But basically speaking, what was I saying about the problem is that, whenever they hit the log will swing, and the dinosaurs will just watch it swing back and forth, bobbing their head, and they won't do anything else until it stops swinging. But sometimes there's a glitch that happens where they'll just keep on swinging, and they won't stop until you break them and replace them. So that's pretty much all I can say about the Velociraptors. Let me check their feeder real quick. Well, we've still got over 7,000, so we're good. Let me out. Yeah, I got eye readers. Now let's see our Deinonychus up close and personal. Hey. Yeah, I thought he was trying to get out there. Just climbing up walls. As you can see, the Deinonychus, I've taken off their feathers because I think that I just wanted them to wanted to keep the Jurassic Park raptor illusion. How you doing, Blaze? You doing good, my boy? Isabelle. Yeah, Isabelle is Blaze's mate, but she pretends like she's too good for him. I love how their sickle claws on the interior of their toes are raised up like that. So cool. And it's almost 11 o'clock near where I am, and basically speaking, I know I've got classes tomorrow. I don't want to go to classes because I'm just lazy like that. Every now and then, I just gotta come into the pen and make sure that these things are full, so I'll feed them from hand while they're asleep.